everyone. I am so excited about this project, so I thought we'd just jump right in. I am very experimental lately with my lettering, and hopefully you guys know that about me. I am sketching a lot and drawing and making letter forms everywhere. So I thought I'd start out with doing this fun cross-stitch style type, and that's what I've been experimenting with lately. And it's going in my zine project. So this video is making a zine, and this is part of the elements that I'm including within. So I thought we'd start the video here by just creating type and finding and collecting elements for the zine. So also collecting photos on free sites that I can use copyright-free photos, and just having a lot of fun experimenting and getting started. All of these photos will make sense later also. So I found this site that is called asciiart.eu. I don't really know what it is, but basically it's like changing text and image into data. So it actually just creates like numerical data or symbols or anything like that. And you can put your work in there, and that's what I'm really interested in right now, is like type work and also image, I guess, into data. So that's what we're gonna do now with some of the images that I found, and then also some of the text that I've been creating. See, like, I'm obsessed with how this looks. I love that this is just literal symbols and that you can still see the photo. I think this is a really good concept for the zine, and yeah, it's just like really cool. You can also customize how many characters make up the image. You can customize the image itself so that the picture will change depending on how bright it is, or depending on if it's like you put it into grayscale or whatever it is. It could change like the shadowing and stuff, so it can change the photo. And I just think this is a very cool way to do it. Again, like I said, I'm just really into data. So you can also do like alphabetic, they change. It's much harder to see that one with that one. Numeric, arrows, grayscale, math symbols. So any type of symbols that you want to create your image and the way you want to do it and style. I just think this is the coolest thing. Okay, so it's the next day. So you've seen me now finding photos and then kind of doing the prep work. So like the ASCII art, which I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. And then the cross-stitch letters that I've been working on. So a lot is coming together now, but today is like big design day. So I'll be doing the entire zine, kind of like putting together a very quick style design. I mean, I think I've done the right amount of prep work and like have the right amount of ideas that I'm ready to just go for it. This is a very quick type of design project, but like should be really good. So I'm going to screen record and show you all of that and then come back when we're a bit closer to being done. Like I said, this is a quick design project. I'm going to work with the spreads first. So in setting up the zine, I'm going to work with the spreads as I want to see them, and then I'm going to rearrange them, and I'm gonna have to kind of like Frankenstein it for printing, just because I want the spreads to be a certain way. And then I also have to put in, for my printer, I have to put the paper in again to get the double-sided. So this is gonna be kind of a process, but we'll come back to that. We'll cross that when we need to. Let's get designing. Okay, so now we're in the design phase. This is exciting. I made my zine 5 by 7 inches, and here's how I set it up. I set up facing pages. I did my margins with 1/4 of an inch, and then I also added a bleed. Bleed is very important if you want your print to go to the ends of the page, so full bleed, full color. So that's how I set it up, and I set up 12 pages. So this is where I ran into a little bit of an issue with the data art, where I realized that it saved really pixely no matter what I tried. I tried lots of different ways to save it, but I fixed that later, and I kind of just went with the photo being pixelated, but I fixed the text later. So this is just the beginning of me setting up the zine and how I would do it, and it's very experimental. It's a very fun process. I don't like to follow any rigid rules when making the zine, or I don't know, like I don't want to stick to one thing or even overwhelm the design. I try to pare it back. I try to really focus on what I want to share and what design aspects I want to get across, and I think I did a great job with showcasing type. But this is pretty much how I do a layout. So it's very much sticking to rules within understanding graphic design as well, like grids, for example. I kind of just do like visual grids, and I understand hierarchy, I understand grids when I design, so I kind of don't have to set that up for myself. So here is where I fixed the blurry type text because I couldn't save it any other way. It was just pixelated, so I actually ended up just doing it myself and over top of the image. So this is how I did it over top, and I actually really like how it turned out, especially because it was no longer an image and I could just overlap it with other design elements and the photos on the page. Midway point check-in, I'm really loving it. I'm trying not to make it too busy, like adding every single thing and every single picture I want to into it. I really am trying to curate, and I think it's going well. I like the little points of like text and stuff, but I wish I had writing that I could add in. I might just write something. That might take a little while. I might just write something to like add in to have more content, but it's also like more of a display design book. So I'm really loving it, except for the pixelated data pictures. So I've redone the Ascension, as you saw, so I can actually use it, and the bunny picture I really like, but I think it's good. I think I'm just gonna leave it, even if it is pixelated. It can be a stylistic choice, and I'm going to get to work on some of my own data style design. Just deciding on the final layout and putting the final touches on the zine, what I wanted to do. This is where I did my own kind of data style design. I really want to explore this more in a different project. I did X's within a shape that I thought was really fun. But then here I decided I do ultimately want text, so I went to Brooklyn Museum and their website, and I'm just using it for this because it's a little zine for me. It's not copyright free or anything. I'm not plagiarizing. I'm just using it within my little zine that was for me, and using what they had on their website about craft art and feminist art, and I love that type of stuff. I love that writing, so I thought I'd include it in here just as relevant as it is to my own project. And then with that all together, the zine was starting to really feel complete. Okay, so the zine is complete and I really love it. I mean, it's a very quick design style, like I said, but that's the essential nature of zines, and I am very happy with how this one turned out. I think it was very exciting and fun. And now I'm going to set up my spreads that I have. That's how I want it to look. I'm going to set it up in a weird order because I'm going to be printing on a single-sided printer, and so what I thought I had to do was like rearrange it, but I was like, no, I don't have to rearrange it because I can just print booklet. But then I was like, no, yes, I do have to rearrange it. I will just print the pages as sheets in the booklet way, the booklet setup way, and I'm going to print them as sheets so that I can then put them back in the printer, print them all on the other side. Because as you can see on here, on the print booklet section, if you hit print booklet on InDesign, you will see what wants to be printed together. So the pages are going to be out of order so that when you lay the pages on top of each other, it will be a book that reads as you had it set up, right? So it's kind of just a complicated thing. Printing is just always hit and miss. But for me, I'm going to actually set up these pages like so and then print normally, not print booklet, because then I can just do double-sided very easily and I don't have to think about it anymore. Hey, it is the next day and it is printing day. So I have organized all my pages and spreads to be perfect for the printer. And I felt like maybe I explained that a little bit confusing yesterday, so I wanted to reiterate like what I did. So I changed my formatting to send to print to printer spreads. So when you go to print a booklet and you're printing a zine, your page numbers have to be divisible by 4. So making a 12-page zine means you use 3 pieces of paper. And yes, even the most basic math confuses me, but in design, this is as far as math really goes. So I have organized mine where I won't be printing booklet, but I organize them in the printer spreads so that I can print them accordingly, flip them manually by hand because it's not a double-sided printer. Hopefully this works. And we will be printing it non-booklet, but like a booklet, so that we can then use the 3 sheets, lay them on top of each other as if we printed booklet, and it should be good. Whew, okay, hopefully that was good and explains what I mean. So for printing, here's what I set up. When I printed range, and I picked the 2 pages that were next to each other, so that would be a completed spread. I realized I wasn't clicked on my Canon, but here. So once I was there, I had print spreads, and then I put sideways, I centered it, everything was defined by the driver, the size of the paper and everything, so that was all good. I added crop marks and bleed marks just to see everything. Then I went in to just make sure everything was okay, went into printer and page setup, and just made sure that it was going to be printing best quality as well. So here I am printing the first side, and then once that came out, all I had to do was pick it up, flip it, reload the paper, and then go and print the next 2 that were attached to that sheet. Okay, excuse the printer making noise, but the first print was very successful. I actually think this went way smoother than I expected it to go, because with old printers that I've used before, like in school, it was always hard doing double-sided printing and it wouldn't come out perfect every time. But this is looking really good, and it actually looks really good on the thin paper, which I was thinking I want thicker paper, but we're just kind of gonna go with this, print the whole thing, and then put it together. And then if I want, maybe do the thicker paper, but let's just see. Okay, so all the pages are now printed. It actually looks so good, and that was so easy. So I guess the moment of truth is just hoping I laid out my pages correctly, which I think I did. This is still drying, very, very inky on that thin piece of paper, but let's just try it. Let's put it together. So now, starting to trim it out, I made a mistake immediately and had to reprint the first sheet. So that was kind of a mess, but it's okay, we prevail. And this is how I do it. That's why the crop marks are so important. And I started putting everything together from here, and it was really satisfying to see it come together. I love this size, 5x7. I think it's a great zine size. I then used a bone folder and my ruler to make a crease so that I could fold the pages, and then you use the bone folder on the other end to kind of flatten it so there's no ripples or any mistakes when you fold paper. It's a very good trick. So the zine is complete, and of course the page I reprinted already once. The heart is off center on the cover. It must have happened when I changed the pages and the page layout to be two-sided into a spread. It definitely happened then, and I just didn't notice. Of course, there's always mistakes. I've already reprinted once, but like, I don't want to keep reprinting today just because that is a bit of a waste of paper and ink, and this is just a fun project to show you how I did it. And then digitally I'll just fix it, and that's what I'm gonna post as well. The zine is just like for me and for fun, and does it bother me? Yes, of course. I'm a perfectionist, I'm a designer, but I'm just having fun. This is like a fun little zine, and it's completed. We're actually going to sew it up now because I don't even have staples. So I'm just gonna do that and complete the little zine, and I actually love it. Even with the off-center heart, I think it's still very beautiful. So all I did for the sewing of the book was get a embroidery thread and a needle and poke it through. I didn't really measure, I can kind of do it by eye, and I just poked it through and then tied it around the back. So I went through the middle of all the sheets, and that's the middle spread. And here is the completed zine page by page. I love how this turned out. It feels very me, and it feels like a really fun process and art direction that I want to move into. I am so proud of this work, and I will have it posted on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. And I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a like. It really helps my channel. And I'll see you all in my next video that will be much more fun projects. Bye!